One Down, the comedy crossword podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of One Down, the comedy crossword podcast. I am Brendan Eyre. I am, of course, joined by my co-host, Greg Warren. Greg, what's happening, man?
Hey, Brendan, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. You know, it's a good quarantine. It's we're doing it for the good of the country. It's fine. It gets a little boring. It does get a little boring.
I've been thinking of new stuff to learn or whatever. I'm not really a learner, but I've been thinking about learning trees. I've realized. No, hear me out. I've realized I don't know trees. I know people always that oak tree out in the yard, the big oak on our lawn. I'm like, yeah, the one with the bark. I know. Basically, I know Christmas, palm, and other. I don't know. I don't know any other tree. I don't know what an oak tree or a maple tree or an elm tree. I have no idea. Weeping willow. I know that because it's got a nickname for it. They should have weeping willow type names for all the trees, old scraggly arms, or something.
Gray bark that falls off a lot. One of those.
Maybe something a little more catchy than that. But
the problem is, here's the problem, because you're absolutely right, but the weeping willow, the rest of them just look the same. So the weeping willow, that was easy. It's all hang downy. But what are you doing with the rest of them where they all look the same?
Yeah, there's probably some little. I mean, the weeping, it does look like it's an aptly named tree. It looks like it's crying. I could pick out like a banana tree if there were bananas on it.
Right.
I can't.
In season.
Yeah, out of season. Yeah, I know out of season trees. But,
yeah.
So that's how boring things are getting around here.
Well, let me ask you this: are you thinking about getting into learning in trees, or are you gonna learn trees?
Well, I'm not going to make a commitment to it right here on this podcast. I mean, I'm not going to. Are you trying to back me into a corner?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to see. Are you going to be the tree guy for us from now on, or am I going to have?
I don't want that responsibility, man. Not yet. I mean, I got that with a couple other things. I haven't made some.
Is it me, or was there an era where there's sort of an age cutoff? They must have been teaching guys trees. Because anyone over the age of 70 seems to know trees.
Yeah, I wonder that. I've wondered that often, but I wonder if maybe they just start getting into trees around 60.
Yeah. So you got about 15 years, then you get into the trees, and then you study trees for a bit, and then you die. That's the timeline.
Wow, that's really uplifting, given what the country's going through. Thanks, buddy.
Well, no, I'm giving you the time to learn trees and 15 years, Greg. That's more than most get.
Let's. What do you say we move on?
Okay.
Now it's just sad.
Monday, May 11th. Hopefully, there'll be some questions about trees.
Well, hey, first of all, Brendan, can I do it this week? Can I do the thing?
Oh, yes, please. We forgot. Go ahead.
Now, I know Brendan usually is the one to talk about this, but I thought maybe I'd try it this week because his voice does tend to drone on every now and then, and you just get used to it, and maybe you're not taking any action. But we'd like to ask you if you could, and several of you have, and we're very appreciative of that. But if you could rate the podcast, that means when you go on. Say you're on Apple Podcasts, there's 5 stars. If you hit, one of those, either the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, we of course love it to be a 5. If you hit that, that really helps us. It helps us with algorithms and stuff like that. And then you could review the podcast, leave a little blurb about what you think. And then, of course, if you hit subscribe, that's the big one because that helps us, and it drops in every week, and you can hear it. But aside from that, thanks for doing that to a lot of you, and thanks for listening. How did I do, Brendan?
You nailed it, Greg. You absolutely nailed it. And here I am giving you 15 years plus all the time it takes to learn trees left in your life, and you immediately turn around and say that I drone on and no one listens to me. So
I didn't say anything like that.
You said that exactly, and I'll move right into Monday, May 11th with furor. This was a Ross Trudeau. They're using him a lot, man. Trudeau is his cachet around with shorts is building. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Would you say, is he normally a Monday guy or?
He's not, but I've come to realize I think these guys are just trying to get in when they can. I think the pay rate's the same. I think they're just submitting whatever they can submit.
Really? You're saying a Sunday has got to be, you got to be paid more. It's twice the words.
You would think, but I don't know what they're running over there. Anyway, the theme here was surprisingly shorts allowed this. It does not seem to be in line with the ethos of the New York Times crossword puzzle, but the theme was butts.
I think Ross Trudeau's a butt man.
I do think he's a butt man. This was revealed in a clue that said bottom rows, and essentially it was just rows of answers that were words for butt. So you had one row where the three answers were booty, tail, buns, and you had that 3-4 times throughout the puzzle.
Yeah, caboose, behind. I noticed this one. I noticed this one. I don't usually pick them up.
It's a tough one to miss. In fact, this would be what I would say. Now, we obviously have the Monday clue of the week. This might be the Monday theme of the year.
I think you're right, man.
Because not only was it bottom rows, and then you had these rows of words for butt, they were in shaded squares, as if we were going to miss, as if we were going to miss that. Like,
right here, guys. This is where the theme is. Right here. You're going to want to look right here.
Yeah. No, this is butts. Don't think the other things are butts. These are the butts.
Okra is not a type of butt.
Yeah. Now, 3 down, Greg. What a pitcher might have after a long game. That's a sore arm. You're a baseball guy. Try telling that to a pitcher from 1908.
Oh, boy.
A long game? I've been our only pitcher for 3 seasons. We had another one, but they traded him for 2 tires for the bus, okay? I'm one pitcher. I've been the only pitcher for 3 seasons. Guys used to pitch 7,000 innings a season, approximately.
And nobody likes to tell you that more than old guys, man. Bob Gibson was he's a Hall of Famer from St. Louis, and he was a great pitcher, and man, anytime any pitcher comes out before the 9th inning, there's 95 old guys just get together in St. Louis. Bob Gibson, he'd throw 9 innings every time he went out. That's what he did. He never went in. They didn't have that relief pitcher. What are you talking? There wasn't no relief. Bob Gibson, he'd throw 9 innings. He'd throw 9 innings, then he'd go home. He'd go home, have his dinner, and he'd go out in his backyard and throw another 9 innings. That's what old Bob Gibson did.
Yeah, those guys used to. I think they were throwing about 76 miles per hour. It doesn't make sense that guys before the era of modern trainers and weightlifting and any of that would just be more capable of throwing. Pitching a doubleheader 2 days in a row.
I think there's something to it. I think the weight training may increase your velocity, but I think it may. When you throw max effort like that, I'm not sure getting bulked up is so good for a pitcher. I don't know. I think there's something to it, man. I think they throw harder now.
Yeah, they definitely do.
But Bob Gibson threw hard. I know that. I don't know how hard, but he threw hard.
Yeah, well, it was before radar guns, so you just had to go by. You just had a guy.
There's some people that do some estimates on that.
Yeah,
like Sandy Koufax was throwing in the 90s, definitely. Probably high 90s.
Well, you had a guy with really keen eyes that would sit on the side, and he'd go 91. And they go, "Are you sure?" And you go, "Yes."
You're gonna question me?
Yeah, you're gonna.
What do you mean? Am I sure? You're gonna question me?
Yeah, I've been doing this for 27 years. I've never been wrong. Why? Because there's no way to check.
28 across brand of foam darts. That is Nerf. Brendan, is there any other kind of Nerf? Is there any other brand of darts? Foam darts, I should say.
All you got Nerf, and you got your store brand knockoffs. That's all there is.
Like Turf.
Yeah, and that one's tough because a lot of guys, they send their wife to the store to buy some turf for the lawn. She comes home with guns. But if you're gonna buy now, neither Greg nor I was allowed Nerf guns. We're allowed Nerf guns as kids. No guns whatsoever. In fact, that led to a real embarrassing incident for me. My dad was in Vietnam. Guns bothered him. So in third grade, Greg, I wanted to be an old timey gangster for Halloween. Well, my dad told me old timey gangsters, they used to carry their Tommy guns in violin cases, which was
that is true though,
which
right?
was true from the movies, except third graders don't know that. So I'm just dressed in an ill-fitting suit with a scraggly mustache my mom drew on, carrying around a violin, and all the kids are just going, "Oh, it's the fiddler on the roof." "Oh, what are you, some kind of busker on the train here to play us a violin? Open that case. It's empty, I see. Nothing." Horrible Halloween costume.
Hey, is that Machine Gun Kelly? No, that's old 4-string Eyre. It's
that's oh man, I wish I could remember the guy from Fiddler on the Roof. That would have been perfect timing. But
I can't either, man.
33 across, loving term for one caring for a sick child. That's Dr. Mom. And that is loving, Greg, till she starts fooling around with surgery. Okay?
Whoa!
yeah, because you are not a doctor, Mom. That's just called being a good mom. You're not a doctor. No.
I'm the doctor. You're the patient. Are you refusing treatment? Mom,
I'm not. Mom,
are you refusing treatment?
Yes, I don't want my arm amputated, Mom. I think we should go to the hospital.
Okay, then. Well, yeah. Fine.
Now, I did a little research, and we should move to Tuesday, but I did a little research because there's something that comes up all the time, and it does bother me that they use it as such an out. 63 across, Greg, is et blank, and the in parentheses it says and others Latin, right? And here's why this makes me mad.
Oh, is that the old et sec?
Here's why this makes me mad, because it can be et alia, or it can be et al I, and I don't know how that's pronounced. I would guess ali. But I looked it up because because they use the same clue for those two different answers. And I looked it up. This is what's ridiculous, because I know from life it's almost always abbreviated et al. Right?
Yeah.
Like in the kind of article they'd make you read in school. But there's a reason it's always abbreviated, because no one knows which one to use. You've got et ali is for men or boys, but can be used for groups of mixed gender. You've got et alia, and that's for things. You've got et aliae, which is women or girls, and you've got et alios, used of people unless they are all girls. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's why Latin's done. That's why nobody can.
Is that what finally killed it right there?
Yeah, well, that's it. That's why.
Hey, which clue are you on, man? I got lost.
63 across.
63 across. Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And so that's why in the journals they're always abbreviating et al, because even scientists don't know which one to use.
There's no way to know.
It's ridiculous. Should we move on to Tuesday, May 12th, I ask you?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it, man.
This was a Tom Pepper and Zaugon Bernacle.
I do not believe we've worked with either of those guys.
No, and I think for sure I would remember if we've worked with maybe Zauqueen Bernacle. I think I would know. The theme was "This is not a toy." 4 answers that started with a toy but aren't. So you had marble cake, top priority, rattlesnake, and yo-yo dieter. Fine little Tuesday theme. Now, I'd like to give... Do you mind if I give a crossword tip, Greg?
Oh, absolutely, man. You went clean. Go ahead.
14 across, constellation with Rigel and Betelgeuse. I'm never sure how that's actually pronounced. Whenever they bring up a constellation, it is almost definitely going to be Orion because they need the O, the I, and the O. It is almost you're not going to get the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper. If it's a 5-letter constellation, write in Orion, and you can come back to it if there's trouble. But it's almost always Orion.
That's an excellent tip, and I happen to agree. And speaking of ORIO. 17 across, dessert with light and dark streaks. That is, in fact, a marble cake, not an Oreo cake that I tried to make it for about 10 minutes of this puzzle.
And that is not, I'm not going to rib you for that because that is a cake. And it's a pie and a cake.
Oh, there's an Oreo cake?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. And so that, I'm not going to rib you
sure?
for that.
Is it orange?
A what? Oh,
is it orange?
Oreo cake, you said.
Yeah, I didn't say Oreo. I said Oreo.
Let me then amend my answer. I am going to rib you. I thought you said Oreo cake. Oreo?
No, I said Oreo. Oreo cake doesn't fit. Oreo cake fits.
What kind of sick son of a gun is just going, honey, I caught about 6, I snagged about 6 Oreos this morning. Time to make that old cake of yours. Chirp, chirp, baby. That is sick, Greg. There's no Oreo cake.
I'm sorry. I know, man. It was stupid. I mean, I wound up getting it, but I got psyched out for a while, man.
Now, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say 36 down. The clue is what a whopper.
Yes.
The answer is total lie. And I would say a whopper is the nicest term for a lie, right? You can't be like, my wife, she threw me out. She caught me in a big old whopper. I was sleeping with her sister, and I told the whopper about it.
I sure told one heck of a tall tale. You're absolutely right. In fact, whopper, I think, almost implies like respect. You know what I mean? Like, that was a good one. That was a good one. You got me there, Greg, when you said you could throw 92 miles an hour. Yeah, you never. Man, this guy's in there telling whoppers. He said he didn't kill those 4 people.
Sir, that's a whopper, and you know
it. Now, 49 down, Justin Timberlake's former band. This was In Sync, and that reminded me my favorite New York celebrity sighting moment, Greg. Because in New York, you do from time to time see celebrities, and you've lived in L.A., you see them there too, but a little bit less because in New York, they walk around on the streets. And so me and my sister, years ago, are sitting on a bench outside of a restaurant waiting to go into the restaurant. I look to my left, and coming towards us down the sidewalk is Willem Dafoe. Right, he's
nice, man.
Little guy. I didn't realize this. Little guy, Willem Dafoe.
Great actor.
Great actor. He's wearing a full-length leather trench coat in June, with just the most beautiful 6'1" tall model on his arm. Right, and so I go, man, there's Willem Dafoe. That's pretty cool. And then my sister looks to her right, and she goes, "Whoa. There's Justin Timberlake and his wife, Jessica Biel." And so coming down the other way is Justin Timberlake. Now, that shocked me. Willem Dafoe didn't shock me, but Justin Timberlake, at that time particularly, I mean, you're talking top 10 celebrities in the world. So for him to be, even in New York where people kind of leave you alone, for him to be walking around without security was kind of wild to me. But he's just walking with his wife. Now, so I'm in this situation where me and my sister are sitting on a bench. Coming from our left is Willem Dafoe. Coming from our right is Justin Timberlake, and his wife, and they are going to cross right in front of us, right? So I'm in this situation where I'm going, are they going to acknowledge each other? Are these two, they're both famous. They know they're both famous. They obviously will recognize each other. Is there some sort of famous nod or like, hey, man, you get it? Anything like that? Nothing, Greg. Walked right, nothing. Not a nod, not a hello, nothing. Just walked right past each other. Very interesting. I thought celebrities kind of had a code of acknowledging each other, but nothing.
Maybe there was some bad blood between Defoe and Timberlake.
Yeah.
And or Defoe and Jessica Biel.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Well, that's been...
Not trying to start anything, but,
Well, I think we should try and start something.
All right, hey, Brendan, I'm not about telling whoppers, okay?
Okay. Yeah, all right. 3 down. That's less yielding as a mattress.
Yep.
It's firmer. Now, Greg, I want to ask you this. Have you ever stayed in a hotel, because there's, I believe, 2 hotel chains that use these. Have you ever stayed in a hotel with a sleep number bed?
Yes.
Now, what are your thoughts on the sleep number bed?
I don't really care for it.
I don't either, and let me tell you why. I think we might have the same issue because we both are a little bit OCD about certain things. Here's the thing. If you give me a hotel bed, and that's just the bed, then I go, well, this is the bed I have, and I got to sleep in it. But if you give me a bed that's got settings from 0 to 100, then all night long I'm worried I might not be on the most comfortable setting. And I'm going through every number they have.
Yep.
Till I'm starting at 0 and I'm going through every one, and I'm concerned the whole time that I am not at my maximum comfort.
That 100 is misleading though, because they go up every 5. So they could have just gone 1 to 20.
Do that? Is that true?
I think so.
Oh, that's horrific. That's horrific.
Maybe it's not, man.
I don't think it is. Because I recall a 93. I dated a girl once who worked at the Sleep Number bed store, and on their cards they got to put what their sleep number is.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Seems personal.
Yeah, it seems pretty personal to me. You're going, and I said as much. I said, you're going around telling every man in this store you're a 78. Well, that's going to change that's going to change during my term.
Your term, is that what you call it when you date girls?
Yeah. Like the president.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
Yeah. I'm a 2-term guy.
Let's go to Wednesday, man. Oh, you're a 2-term guy.
Yeah.
2-term. Yeah.
Wednesday, May 13th. This was a Benjamin Kramer. Greg, this was a hard Wednesday, man.
Really hard. All the Wednesdays are hard lately, Brendan. And I think you and I have talked about this offline. They're making the puzzles harder during a very challenging time in everybody's lives. Do they think that we're up for it? We have more time, or they're just sadistic? I don't know what's going on.
It's sick,
man.
Is what it is. They've taken this opportunity. It's sick. Shorts has taken this opportunity to throw at us just curveball after curveball, and it's like, this is not what the country needs right now for morale. You know, come on, Shorts. What are you? He's working with the commies, if you ask me.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'll go on record. I don't care.
Okay. Man, I really struggle with this, and I would have quit. I honestly would have quit, but you put me in the penalty box last week for missing 2 Wednesdays in a row, and I thought 3 Wednesdays I was going to get suspended for a month or something, so I pulled it out at the it's one of those things where I had to come back to it, 6 hours later. But yeah, it was really tough. You told your little celebrity story earlier. Mine's not quite as big of a deal, but 30 across Emmy award-winning actress Uzo Aduba. Do you know who that is, Brendan?
I don't. No, I didn't know.
That is, she plays Crazy Eyes on Orange is the New Black.
Oh, she's great
on Netflix. Yeah, and I performed stand-up on the Seth Meyers show one time, as did you, and you had a great show. But my Uzo was the guest when I was no, I'm saying that wrong. Was it Uzo or was it? But maybe that was Ferguson. I think it might have been Ferguson. I can't remember. I think it was Seth Meyers. But one of those, I did one of those talk shows with her, and I met her, and she was really, really nice and beautiful, like very, very pretty. Which she plays a prisoner and like a crazy sort of butch prisoner in Orange is the New Black. So you wouldn't know it. There's a lot of makeup and wardrobe to make her look like that. Just sort of walking on the street, she's a very, very pretty girl.
That's what is. That does not surprise me at all, and that's what's brutal about Hollywood. Is that even for the ugly roles, they get beautiful people. Ugly Betty. That woman's beautiful. That woman's beautiful. And it's like, I get it, because it's kind of like, I guess it would be insulting for an actual ugly actor if you said, hey, I think we got the role for you. What is it? Ugly Betty.
That would be cool.
But it is a rough industry where even for the ugly roles, they're getting beautiful people and using makeup artists to make them not beautiful.
It reminds me of a news story from several years ago. It was one of my favorite news stories. It was there was a dentist in Iowa, and he had a dental assistant working for him, and she was beautiful, and he was falling in love with her, and he was a married man, and he fired her because he didn't want to be around her because he was afraid he'd fall in love with her, and he didn't want to leave his wife, and he's like, I can't be around her. I'm falling in love with her, and she took him to court, and the case went all the way up to the state Supreme Court, and the state Supreme Court said, he can do that. He's allowed to do that. It's his practice. And a lot of people felt sorry, for that girl that got fired. I felt sorry for the girl they got to replace her because she does not feel very good about herself. No, you can work here as long as you want, Yolanda.
Yeah. No trouble here. You, hey, I don't even have to look at the resume. You got the job.
It's awful, man.
From the second you walked in the door, I knew you were what I was looking for.
God, that's just very harsh. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Also, the dentist's wife, that's marriage isn't going to last. You had to fire a lady so you wouldn't cheat on me? Like that. There's other ladies in the world.
There's other. Yeah.
You have eyes. Like, what's next? Like, I got to take the next step. I got to go blind. I got to go full blind.
I want to talk about 47 Down, a country music. It's a very clever clue. The answer is anthem, right? Because it's a song about our country.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when there was a movement? I believe it was around 9/11 to try to change the national anthem to that Lee Greenwood country song.
Oh, I didn't know that. I have heard of the movement to change it to America the Beautiful, but you're telling me there was a movement to change it to a country song?
I'm proud to be an American because at least I know they wanted to change our national anthem to a country song.
Listen, boys, they hit the towers. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start calling them freedom fries. Don't worry about why. We're changing the national anthem to a country tune.
There was a big move. There was a huge movement. They had a petition, and I just I like Lee Greenwood. I like his song, but I think it's dangerous. You can't change the national anthem ever, right? Because then it's like, well, you change it every couple of years by what's popular.
Yeah,
and there, you go a country song. You're going to next week's national anthem is My Rowdy Friends Have Settled Down or something.
Well, I actually signed the petition to change it to Leonard Skinner's "Give Me 3 Steps."
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, I'll vote for that.
Yeah.
Hey, fat fellow with your hair colored yellow, what you trying to prove?
Because that's my woman there, and I'm a fellow who cares.
This might just be it for you. Something like that.
What does that have to do with America? Don't worry
It's got
about
everything
it.
to do with
it's
America.
Metaphor, you idiot.
You don't mess with another man's girl. That's American.
I got 2 quick beefs that I didn't like about this Wednesday, and I'll see what you think about them. And they are 50 across and 12 down. And that 50 across is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, etc. And that the answer was Fibonacci series. I knew Fibonacci right away. I've never heard it called anything but the Fibonacci sequence ever. Never heard that. And then 12 down, question whose answer can go almost anywhere. That was an open-ender. And I've never heard
nobody's
that.
ever said
You say
that.
open-ended. You say open-ended.
That there's an open-ender. Nobody's ever said that.
No.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you on that one. Fibonacci series, I think you're right. It's less offensive to me than the open-ender. Hey, that Fibonacci series thing, do you know much about that?
It's fascinating. I've always loved the Fibonacci series. For those that don't know, it's basically you add up the 2 previous numbers to get the next number. So it's 1, and then 1 plus 0 is 1, and then 1 plus 1 is 2, and then 2 plus 1 is 3, then 3 plus 2 is 5, and so on, and you do that infinity. You can go on for as long as that takes. But it's so cool because it's like the golden ratio in that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask you about the golden ratio. It has to do with the golden ratio, like 1.6 to 1 or whatever or something.
Yeah.
And that appears all over nature, right? The golden ratio?
Yes, as does the Fibonacci series, as they call it. But like the Fibonacci series can be seen in the branching of trees, which is something you're going to look into, we hear. Leaves on a stem, fruit sprouts on a pineapple, a bunch of stuff. Like you can find this Fibonacci sequence, which is crazy. That same with the golden ratio.
And they're linked, right? The golden ratio and the Fibonacci series.
Yes.
The golden ratio has to do with beauty too, right? Like if your face is 1.6 times long as it is wide, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what my ratio is, Brendan?
What?
1 to 1. It's a perfect perfect block. I've got
You got a perfect square.
Yeah, I got a square head, basically.
Well, listen, Greg, you know what another measure of beauty is? Symmetry. So this 1 to 1 is pretty good. You're
exactly. Yeah.
You're hitting one of the marks. You're missing on the golden ratio. You're hitting the silver ratio. So that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah. People like symmetry. That's why I had
That's good to hear.
I had to have one of my eyes lowered.
Man, that had to be expensive. That was
cost me an arm and a leg, and an eye. Let's move on to Thursday, May 14th. Michael Schlossberg. I enjoyed this theme. It was bingo. You had a bunch of bingo-related clues, and then again, man, and Greg, if I'm disrespecting the podcast or disrespecting you in any way, let me know. But these rebuses, or in other words, squares where you write multiple letters in, they're starting to grow on me a little bit.
Me too, man. I was so against. That's part of why we started the podcast, is we would call each other and complain about the rebuses, and I kind of liked one, especially this one. Although because in the middle of it, it's the word free, which you have FREE in one square. You have to do with the rebus.
Yeah.
But they should have just put that up there in keeping with the bingo theory, right? It wasn't a free square. You had to earn it.
Well, a bingo. What do you mean? Put what up there?
The free square. Just put the word free. Just give you the word free.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. When you're actually playing bingo, the free comes with the board. Huh.
Yeah.
Never occurred to me. Yeah. Good catch. Good catch.
But, no problem.
So like they had a bunch of clues, basically like bingos in Scrabble, and the answer was a 50-point bonus. So it was a bunch of bingo-related stuff. So.
Yeah, 46 across, bingo for one, game of chance. What? It is a skill game, and I've always maintained it's a skill game. What are you talking about, chance?
Yeah, it's a skill game for you because the only people who play bingo are over 80, so you win every time because you can hear the numbers, Greg.
This is not true. Me and Sean and his girlfriend Heather are friends. I go to bingo at the American Legion with them every now and then, and everybody's in there over 80, and I don't win. They win. And it's complex, man. They have like 9 different cards going at one time. They have a block out. It's really hard, man. It's hard. It's a skill game, and I'll sorry, man.
Don't apologize. I mean, you've got strong feelings on something. I think you let that go. Now, 68 across, perforate in a way. The answer was stab. I would advise you as a listener, always use stab. Don't call 911 and say, there is a madman on a perforating spree. And
what, does he have a stapler? Or what does he
have? No, he's perforating people all over the street.
A hole punch? What's going on?
No. Perforations, man. Perforations.
Is it like one of like a cardboard thing that they...
With a knife. He's perforating them in their guts with a knife.
That's a really important point for our listeners, Brendan.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome, Greg.
I want to go to a 45 down, and the clue is pasture, and the answer is Lee, L-E-A. And Brendan, I want to bring up a new segment on this podcast, and we have, of course, the Bonefish Grill most often crossword puzzle words. Okay?
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure Lee quite gets there, but it's getting there fast, and this is, I'm giving it one honk.
One honk. An up-and-comer?
That means it's an up-and-comer. It's an up-and-comer. It's not quite Bonefish Grill, which makes it a Red Lobster. Okay?
It's a Red Lobster. It's a Red Lobster crossword word.
And hey, I enjoy Red Lobster.
Man.
Okay, I do. I think, don't get offended, Red Lobster. I go there probably more often than I go to Bonefish Grill because they're in more places. But let's be honest, you're not quite Bonefish.
No, they're not. But for a guy like me, who's a disgusting, eating habits, I almost prefer the Red Lobster because of their greater
fried food,
greater quantity of fried items. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I couldn't agree more on Lee, man. Lee has been coming up. I mean, Lee, I now only know because it's come up so often. Because
me too. Yeah.
For a while, I would know it was Lee, and I couldn't remember because, they use Lee in the nautical way also. And so I would get confused because that's spelled L-E-E or Ali.
Ali,
yeah. Or they'll say to Lee words or whatever. And so one's L-E-E and one's L-E-A, and I would get those confused. But they've used Lee as a meadow so often lately that I've got it nailed down. That's L-E-A. So I couldn't agree more. Now, 39 down, leaves before paying the check. I thought this was a clever clue. This was
so clever.
This was T. I thought this was a clever little clue. Now, I will tell you guys a little background. For I think you like to know us as people, know us as hosts. What Greg's drink of choice is a Trente Starbucks unsweetened green tea, extra ice. Now, if any of you out there are baristas, okay, and Greg Warren walks into your Starbucks, you're going to put extra ice in, and you're going to think, well, that's probably how much ice he wants in there. And let me just tell you right now, put way more, okay? Whatever you think is extra ice is not. The man wants the cup filled to the brim with ice, and then with whatever tea will fit in the nooks and crannies. Is that right, Greg?
Yeah, and oftentimes I say fill it to the top with ice.
Yeah, and
they don't do it.
Well, can I tell you as a Starbucks insider where the problem lies. And it's not your fault. You deserve to get what you want as a customer. Can I tell you where the problem lies?
Sure.
The tea is brewed, and now this could have changed since I've been there, but the iced tea is brewed as a concentrate, okay? And we use lines on the cup to know how much tea and how much water to put in to get the right ratio. And so I think what's probably happening to you is they're thrown off because that they don't know the ratio then once they've gone too much ice. They don't know what they're supposed to do. So I would suggest to them, make the tea in a cup, then fill a different cup to the top with ice, pack it in, then pour that tea over the ice. And Greg will be happy.
Yep.
Right?
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to put that out there so people can serve you correctly.
Do we have a lot of baristas that listen?
Thousands.
Okay. Good. Well, that's helpful, man. Like most things that you say on this podcast, it's helpful.
Thank you. Not funny, but helpful. That's what I aim for on this comedy crossword podcast.
58 down, feature of Swiss Miss logo. That's the Alps. Have you seen this logo, Brendan?
Yeah, and I don't look at the Alps.
It could be any mountain range. It could be, if you live in a place without snow, the man-made ski slope. It's not. It's like, how do they know it's just, I guess because it's Switzerland, but man, it's not very Alp-like. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the beauty of Swiss Miss. I agree with you completely. It's a generic mountain, but I think you're right. I think because it's Switzerland, we're supposed to assume the Alps. I thought you were going to say your eye was captivated by the roughly drawn cartoon of Swiss Miss, which I guess not everyone's has problems like me.
Well, I was thinking that I had that in my head, but when I Googled Swiss Miss, she didn't come up.
What?
Yes. Could you be thinking of something else?
Is she not on the cover? I always
She's
thought
not
it
on
was
the cover,
a
man.
woman in front of the Alps. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
you're just-
maybe that's just a fantasy.
You're a delusional pervert. Yeah, I kind of had the same picture too, but and maybe that's from the past. Maybe they've realized that was, I don't know, misogynistic in some way or something. I don't. But it's just the Alps now, and not those Alps, Brendan. Come on.
I didn't say anything.
Grow up.
There used to be a Swiss Miss because there's a Swiss Miss Halloween costume that is, but I think they got rid of her. Yeah, this is bad because I've been telling a lot of people I'm attracted to the icon on the front of Swiss Miss. Now there's just a bunch of people that think I got a thing for a cup of hot chocolate.
Guy likes mountains.
Yeah.
Nondescript mountains, whatever.
And of course, I almost wanted to pass this by because we've dealt with it too much. Too many times have we dealt with this, but I think we've got to mention it every time. 9 down, blank extra, XTRA, parentheses, soda. That's Pib Extra.
Oh, yeah.
This is a conspiracy to rival Area 51, Greg. They repeatedly utilize Pib as an answer, but they don't reference Mr. Pibb in the clue.
No.
Now, I looked into it, and guess what?
What's that?
Mr. Pibb is dead.
What?
There's no Mr. Pibb. I had no idea. In 2001, I guess they probably wanted to separate themselves in some way from Dr. Pepper, so in 2001...
He's still there, right?
Oh, that guy's been practicing for years. But in 2001, the Coca-Cola Corporation got rid of Mr. Pibb, reformulated the drink, and it became Pib Extra. So that's why we see Pib Extra so often. It's not a different kind of Mr. Pibb. It is the new Mr. Pibb.
I see now. I see. Oh, that's interesting. And but the other thing is they don't give Dr. Pepper his fair share.
No.
His or her fair share.
No, I think Pib is a more useful I think Pib. I think you know what I would suspect it is. I would suspect that there's very few short words that have two B's, and so when they have a B in the down, Pib.
Well, they certainly use ebb quite a bit.
They've got ebb. You could use bib lettuce. That would work, but there's not a lot going on there.
That's a good catch, and that's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to move to Friday, though.
Friday, May 15th. This was a Christopher Adams. No theme again. Well, and I should mention this, Greg. Interestingly, let me look through my notes. This was an interesting week in that so we had a theme Monday. We had a theme Tuesday. We had a no theme Wednesday, which is common. We had a theme Thursday, but then there was no theme Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So 3 out of 7 had a theme, which is very unusual.
This was the theme on this one was difficult for me. Let's go ahead and take a time out and say how we did. I got 6 out of 7 this week, and this is the puzzle that tripped me up.
I got 7 out of 7, which I went clean, and I feel really good about ourselves. A lot of people were starting to talk, starting to say maybe these two guys shouldn't be hosting a crossword puzzle podcast.
What?
Yeah,
who's saying
Greg.
Is that are people saying that the word on the streets?
That's the word on the streets, the message boards, everywhere. Okay, they were starting to say that. Nobody's been going clean, but I feel like this week's a 6 out of 7 and a 7 out of 7. We've cemented ourselves as Hey, we should be doing this, okay? We are legitimate crosswordsmen.
Yes, we are. I mean, I got messed up down in the southwest corner. There was just 4 words I couldn't get: Riga, emigre, Tonier, and something else, and fun home. I didn't know those, and I wound up being 2 letters short, and. Yeah, I beat myself up about it. I tried for 2 hours, and I hit reveal. And my friend Amy Markscourt, she's a regular listener of the podcast, and she's a radio personality in St. Louis, and very, very bright woman. And she never has done crossword puzzles, and she just started doing them, and she's like pretty smart, so she's picking it up quickly. She mentioned something, I guess, in gaming. They have a thing called Rage Quit. Are you familiar with this?
Oh yes, yeah. It's my friend Anthony DeVito used to bite through the wires on his Nintendo controllers as a child.
Yeah, and she asked me if I ever rage revealed, and I think I did on this one. And whenever I hit reveal. When I finally give up, I get mad and I do it, and I'm like, and I always, it never makes me feel good when I reveal. It
shouldn't. You're a competitor, but that's not. Listen, you put 2 hours in. That's not a rage reveal. Okay, that's a valiant effort. A rage quit is
quit. I quit, man.
A rage quit is 35 minutes in. You just go nuts and you go, show me the puzzle. No, you put your time.
I used to be that guy before we got into this. I used to be that guy.
No,
it was a good puzzle though. I mean, it was a tough one. 36 across. Anna Wintour was the clue. The Anna Wintour, e.g., or example, and the answer is a fashionista.
Yes,
Brendan. I had no idea that Anna Wintour was a member of the Socialist Party in Nicaragua. I had no idea. This woman, I've never been a big fan, but now I thought she just worked. She was, and she got in that fight with the Contras, and Ollie North was involved. And
well, it's the
hold on, Brendan. No, I think that's Sandinistas. Those are the Sandinistas, and I get those two mixed up all the time. And yeah. I'm sorry. Anna Wintour, of course, is the longtime editor of Vogue magazine,
right?
And the the movie and book Devil Wears Prada.
Right.
Was written by one of her former assistants.
Exactly. Now, I had kind of the opposite problem, Greg.
What's that?
I joined the Sandinistas.
Did you?
Well, I thought it was just fellas that love to go to the beach. And
no, Brendan.
I was wrong about that, man.
And they're very politically minded.
No, there is blood on my hands for that mistake.
I believe they're in power now in Nicaragua.
Well, I got kicked out before that because I kept trying to rub tanning oil on the various members.
I believe that's when the Contras made their move. And you tell me that they're not trying to mess with us. What's the 37 across coup d'etat group junta? Guess who a junta is? The Contras. Okay,
junta. It's a junta.
Fine.
But yes, that is exactly who they are. A junta. I'd love to get involved in a junta. Junta. I don't know.
Sounds like you were. For a while.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a beach club. I thought we were going to read books on the beach, talk about them. 51 across, we said the same thing. That's in quotes, and the answer is jinx. Now,
right.
I don't know how it happened in St. Louis, but where I grew up, it was jinx, you owe me a Coke. Did you have that?
Oh, really?
Did you have jinx, you owe me a Coke?
No, jinx. You're going to get hit in the head with a wiffle ball bat 13 times. It was a tough neighborhood I grew up in.
Wow. Never mind my Coke issue, because I was going to take umbrage with the fact no Cokes were ever paid. But now that I realize I could have been being beat with a wiffle ball bat, I'll take a lack of Coke. That's fun. Kids make the funniest rules where it's like, hey, man, you said what I said. Fair's fair. I'm hitting you in the face with this bat. You know the rules. You knew the rules when you started talking. That's like when you're a kid, you're involved in all sorts of games you never agreed to play. Like, do you remember that? Do you know what I mean? Like, you remember that game where if a guy held up his fingers in a circle on his knee and you looked at it, he would get to punch you. And it's like, what? I didn't sign up. I'm not in this league.
Oh boy. That is so true, man. I wasn't part of this game. What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, you looked at my fingers in a circle. I don't care what you were a part of. You're getting punched.
My friend, one of my old friends, passed away several years ago. The late great Scott Kennedy, comedian. He had a bit something about that called. Yeah, we used to play rock fights. How do you play? Poof, you're playing. 27 across, first lady between Bess and Jackie. That's Mamie. That's Mamie Eisenhower, Brendan.
That's right.
Do you know much about Mamie?
I don't, no.
She was known for wearing a lot of pretty dresses. Especially she wore a light shade of pink quite often. They called it Mamie Pink. She was a bit of a penny pincher. She helped the White House staff cut coupons. First lady to put up Halloween decorations. And apparently maybe a little bit didn't care for the Kennedys when they came in. Some people say she wasn't very nice to Jackie Kennedy when she showed her around.
Interesting. Now, helped the staff cut coupons. What was this scheme? Do you think were the staff cutting coupons for her to use, or was this she was helping them to cut coupons for them?
That's a great question, man. Again, we sort of skim the surface on this podcast. We don't really get into the meat of any story, do we, Brendan?
No, never have, never will. Don't care to.
I thought it was interesting.
But you've got to admit that affects my view of Mamie, right? If she's helping them to save prices on their groceries, great.
I think she was helping them.
Yeah.
I think she was helping them. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Because I did have to bring up, to be fair, I brought up the Jackie Kennedy thing. Apparently when she when Jackie Kennedy came to the White House, she she had just had a cesarean section. She was a little beat up, and they had a wheelchair entrance, and Mamie didn't tell her about it.
The old don't tell them about the wheelchair entrance trick. Yeah.
Yeah, and they asked her, like, why didn't you tell her? And she said, well, she didn't ask.
Nice lady, that Mamie. Saturday, May 16th.
And this podcast is not or has never been about smearing Mamie Eisenhower. That's one of the first things we said when we started this thing is we're not going to take shots at Mamie Eisenhower. But, she also did wear those pretty dresses.
Well, one of the first things I said when I agreed to do this podcast was, Greg, can we take shots at Mamie Eisenhower? Please.
And I said, no, man. No. We're not. No, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that. That's a low blow. That's been done.
How many anti-Mamie Eisenhower podcasts are there out there, Brendan?
Millions.
I'd say millions, man. And sure, they get a little better ratings than we do, but we're still not going to go there.
We're not going to go there.
I don't care how many people want to call in, want to write in, and want to say, "Hey, let's tear down Mamie Eisenhower." Sponsors, we don't care. You turn around.
We're not going to doing it. Leave. I said no. She's a decent woman. Okay, now Saturday, we got to rip through these. Saturday, May 16th, this was a Tracy Gray and Jeff Chen. Again, no theme. 14.
Chen we've worked with quite a bit.
Oh, Chen, quite a bit. They may have put him with Tracy Gray to get her through her first Saturday. I'm not sure, but Chen's all over the place. 14 across. Look down on something, ? And this was aerial view. Now...
Yep.
This, Greg, is interesting. This has ruined my ability to immediately judge a movie, okay? And I'll tell you why. It used to be if the opening credits or the opening shot of a movie was rolling, was an aerial shot of a landscape, usually a forest. It would usually be a forest. I would know, hey, at least these guys had helicopter money. So at that right off the bat, at least they had helicopter money, so something went into this thing. And now all you need is $79 to get yourself a drone at Target.
Wow, you're right,
and
man.
It's every single movie now. You turn on Netflix, every single movie opens with an aerial shot. And this
guy's a genius. You're right, man.
That used to be reserved for big budget pictures. Okay, they had to get a helicopter up there on film, and now you get yourself a drone and you act like you're remaking The Godfather. It's ridiculous. I can't judge anymore.
Man, I'm in awe. I would have never thought of that. I'm in awe.
Yeah,
brilliant point, and I believe extremely helpful for the listeners.
Thank you, Greg.
37 down. Sorry, fictional land in the highest grossing film of 2017. The answer is Wakanda. Brendan, let me tell you what the answer is not, and this caused me to probably spend an extra half hour on this puzzle. Wachovia. That's a bank, actually. It's a bank that was recently bought out by Wells Fargo. Black Panther did not take place at Wachovia Bank.
Did you think that the top grossing movie of that year was just the documentary Banks of the U.S.?
For some reason, I knew what just had in my head is Wachovia, and I went for an hour and a half walk, and somehow it hit me. I'm like, oh, it's Wakanda.
Oh, that's great. Now, 2 down, a text notification before a timestamp. And this is Red, R-E-A-D. And
yeah,
Greg has his read receipts turned on his phone. And I want to know something, and I want you to answer honestly. Is this because you are such a supremely confident man that you don't care if people know you are ignoring them? Or do you not know how to turn them off? Tell the truth.
It's the latter.
Not
only did I not know how to turn them off, I didn't know they were on. All right?
Because whenever people with their read receipts on are either so confident that they don't care. They don't care. Yeah, I read it and I'm not responding, or they don't know they're on. Those are the two classes. Yeah, you've got your read receipts on, buddy. So I know once you've seen something.
All right. Well, a lot of times I just don't want to talk to you, man. 44 down, where many stop and smell the rosés. Napa. Brendan, this is a stupid clue, and I don't get it. Nobody's selling wine at an auto parts store. I don't understand what this is about. Napa know-how has nothing to do with wine, Brendan.
I think they mean Napa Valley. Greg, Napa Valley in California, where much of the United States... A lot
of auto parts stores out there, are you saying?
No, it's where much of the grapes and the wineries in the U.S. are focused. It is not Napa, nor...
Well, I'm going to have to look into that. I'll take your word for it right now, but I'm going to have to look into it.
I back when I used to drink, I used to like to pick up a nice Chardonnay at Lube Stop.
You want to hit Sunday, man?
Well, real quick, I want to know if you understand something, because I do not, man. 40 down.
The answer is probably no.
40 down doesn't inhale, say. And the answer was savors.
I get that.
Wouldn't that be doesn't exhale?
No, I mean, they're talking about food. So if you have, like for you, when I saw you eat that apple fritter that one time, you didn't really savor it. You just shoved it down your face as fast as you could eat it.
Doesn't inhale as in they're not talking about breathing. Never mind. I get it. So inhale, it doesn't, when someone says he inhaled that sandwich. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Let's go to Sunday. May 17th. This was a Byron Walden. A little bit confusing because it had a title, Wide Open Spaces, but no theme. Now, here's what's interesting, Greg. Byron, he was playing to the back of the room here, is what he was doing. That's a little comedy term when you're doing your comedy, you're doing jokes that are supposed to impress other comedians, okay? Because that Wide Open Spaces, it was called that, Greg, because there was only 122 answers, which is tied for the all-time fewest answers on a Sunday, which the fewer the answers, the harder the puzzle, because obviously that means they're longer answers. And then it's called Wide Open Spaces because he had 177 what they call in the crossword community open squares, which are white squares that don't touch any black boxes in any way, and that was the third most ever. So those two combined basically make this. This wasn't that hard of a puzzle, but it was an extraordinarily hard puzzle to create, to write. Making the puzzle was extraordinarily difficult. So he's essentially playing to the back of the room where he's not giving us that much difficult, but he's showing other crossword guys, look at this, look what I did. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't care for it. I got it. I don't care for it. I care for it about as much as I care for the comedy that goes to the back of the room.
Yeah,
there are exceptions.
Right.
But 25 across. I helped you on the Saturday puzzle. I'd like you to help me here. 25 across, flying class. The answer is AVES, A-V-E-S. I don't know what that is.
I think that's. I didn't look it up. I think that's the scientific classification for birds.
As an avian? Yeah, I get it.
I think. I could be wrong.
Okay. But, I mean, it makes sense, avian.
Yeah. Aves is a class of vertebrates which comprises the birds. Yeah.
It's also a rent car company.
What? No, you're thinking of Avis.
Yeah, Avis. A-V-E-S. Avis.
I'm not gonna bother correcting you anymore. I don't care. 78 across was comic actor whose wife left him to marry their neighbor Frank Sinatra, and that's Zeppo Marx. Greg,
I felt bad for Zeppo when I read this, man.
did you? Because here's the thing. If you want to keep your wife, you don't move in next to old Blue Eyes. That's rule number one. Is that you think I feel bad for him, but it's like, come on, open your eye. You don't see Harpo. Harpo moved in next to Don Rickles. No trouble there.
Is that true?
No.
Not true, is it? Okay, good.
Now, of course, you got 37 down. Blank and the Blowfish. That was a pretty easy clue for Sunday. Hootie. But poor Darius Rucker, man. They made one choice for a band name, and he didn't realize that he was going to be called Hootie for the next 30 years.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That is nobody calls that guy Darius.
No. He just hangs out with Bono and The Edge, and they complain. 62 down, Doctors Without Borders and others, briefly, that's NGOs. Doctors Without Borders, I think their motto is something like, we go where no one else will go, which is also, that was the motto of your 2018 tour, wasn't it, Brendan? That
is the motto of my career, Greg. I go where no comic has gone before because it's the only place that'll have me.
5 down, Mythical Flyer, Rock, ROC. Boy, I wish I wouldn't have looked this one up. This is terrifying, man.
Yeah.
These are Middle Eastern birds that, they can pick up an elephant. They can pick up an elephant, and then they just drop the elephant, and the elephant dies from dropping the elephant, and then they eat the elephant. That's a big bird, man.
It's funny that because I looked that up because I wasn't sure what that was either, and it's funny that for a thing to be described, you get. Most things are described by what they look like or what they where they live, what they do. But the Rock is just simply described as a bird that can pick up an elephant, and that's all you need to know. That gives you everything you need to know.
What else do you want, man?
Yeah.
Sure, he can do a lot of other things, but you get those other things when you say he can pick up. Well, does that mean he can pick up a lion? Obviously.
Yeah. Well, you didn't tell me what he looks like. What do you think he looks like? He's huge.
He's big, and he's got giant claws.
Yeah. He looks like the kind of bird that can pick up an elephant, you idiot.
Yeah. He doesn't look like a beagle, I can tell you that. I think we got to wrap it up, Brendan.
Yeah, man, we for sure have to wrap it up.
I got, if you don't mind, I want to introduce a segment.
Please.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Brendan, I call this one down word around town.
I love that. That's got a ring
like
to it, man. It's
one down word around town. Yeah, and every now and then we get an email. We get a lot of social media interaction, and I think I referenced this last time. Our man Paulie Double D, who's a regular listener, a couple of weeks ago, you told a story about a coworker of yours that got caught in a salmon canning machine, right?
The oven, yes.
Yeah. Paulie Double D sent me a story. I guess this happened in his hometown of New Bedford, Mass., which is, I think, the fishing capital or the seafood capital or whatever. They do a lot of fishing and they bring a lot of seafood in to New Bedford, Mass.
Big time. It's a big, huge Portuguese population there because.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they know how to fish. So because when I painted houses on Cape Cod, all my whole crew was Portuguese. They came from New Bedford.
Yeah, so Paulie Double D was telling me a story, and I don't think Paulie Double D got sort of the there was a little bit of humor and a happy ending to your story. Pauly Double D just sent me a story about a guy. I guess they have these giant. They go through a lot of ice in New Bedford, Mass, because of because you got to pack the seafood, right?
Sure.
They have these giant ice things, and there was a guy that was in the ice thing, and nobody knew, and they turned the ice thing on, and the guy was a human popsicle when it was all over, and he died, Brendan. So it's kind of a morbid story, Pauly Double D told, but he told it enthusiastically, and I could tell he was fired up about it, and the lesson I think of this podcast, well, one, leave Mamie Eisenhower alone. Number two, if you're working at an ice machine up there in New Bedford, Mass, learn to trust your coworkers before you do anything risky.
Yeah, and I think that was a great story to end on. Really upbeat, give the people some morale boosting during this difficult time.
It's just, life is about ups and downs, and we can't always be positive on this podcast, okay?
Yeah, sometimes you get frozen to death. I also like how you said he was a human. The man turned into a human popsicle, and then you took a beat and you go, he died. Yeah, Greg, I didn't think he survived, okay? I didn't think being frozen solid, he then was thawed out and walked away.
Yeah, I guess Well, I just want to make sure everybody knew.
We appreciate all the interactions. You can interact with us on social media at One Down Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Ask us any questions you have. We'll answer them on the podcast. And like Greg said,
and we'll answer them on a little segment called One Down, Word Around Town.
One Down, Word Around Town. And you can check out Greg at gregwarrencomedy.com. You can check me out at Eyrebud, EYREBUD, on Twitter and Instagram. And, of course, like Greg said at the beginning, maybe right now, as soon as you're done, take 30 seconds, review the podcast, subscribe to it, rate it. We'd sure as heck appreciate it. And
language, Brendan, language.
One Down is hosted by Greg Warren and Brendan Eyre, produced and edited by John Baldwin. Our theme song is written and performed by Henry Phillips. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcast.
One Down, the comedy crossword podcast.